Welcome to the Food Professor Podcast, presented by Cattle. Season 6, Episode 14. I'm Michael LeBlanc.
And I'm the food professor, Sylvain Charlebois.
Our very special guest on this episode is Ransom Holley, CEO of Cattle. Yes, that Cattle, a generous supporter of the pod, but more importantly today, a veritable font of wisdom and insights on a topic that is spoken behind boardroom doors probably every day at food brands, large and small, and restaurants. The impact of GLP-1 weight loss drugs, yes, I called them weight loss drugs, and how they're changing consumer lifestyles. Great research. It's second one in a go, and something you and I have been talking about for a while.
Oh, absolutely. And as you know, I write a column for the Grocery Business magazine, very well read magazine. And I was asked to write about, guess what, for January?
Yeah.
GLP-1s. And so after the holidays, I suspect that we'll see another bump.
Yeah.
But the numbers are amazing. It's just incredible what's happening. And of course, when we spoke to Ransom, we made it clear that we're not really commenting on the medical health side of things.
Yes, that's right.
We're very interested in understanding how this phenomena is impacting the food industry in particular.
Have you ever been mistaken as a doctor with the Dr. Charlebois?
All the time.
Like on airplanes, do they say, does anybody know
Are you a
CPR?
real doctor? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, on Uber, it's Dr. Sylvain Charlebois.
Okay.
And so every time, so are you because I know they want to ask questions about, I got a backache. And
I sit all day driving Ubers.
I can see it coming, you know. I got this massive headache.
Not that kind of doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to talk about a whole bunch of interesting stuff today. So we'll get to our interview with Ransom in a little bit. He's got some great data. And then we kind of weave in, there was a recent report from Circana about the U.S., because if we think the U.S. is kind of what is to come in Canada, pretty interesting numbers.
Well, I mean, when you look at the numbers in Canada, it is pretty clear. It's like it's like the U.S. 2 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And anyway, we'll talk about all that stuff. We're also going to talk about a little bit of AI. You were at a conference in Montreal. Campbell Soup is mixing up the soup. They're in it. Oh my goodness. We're going to do a Canada's Food Price Report teaser, which is our big episode next week. And we're also going to talk about this National Farmers Union group, who I was actually going to ask you about last episode because I saw they were meeting in Moncton. And I was like, who are these guys? I'd never heard of them, so we'll get to them.
And we need to remind our listeners that they have until December 12th to submit a claim for their Loblaw bread price fixing money. And I was hearing there are reports suggesting that bots are after that money too. So AI against AI is just incredible. And are you surprised?
Well, I'm not, because as we talk to law enforcement as part of retail, cybercrime is a big factor for all retailers. You remember Sobeys got hit by it not too long ago and took a $22 million write-down. And
several companies have been hit by it,
many companies, both in our sector and other
sectors. But
this
it seems to be like an organized campaign to get money.
Well, listen, organized crime is called that for a reason, right? They're organized and they're super resourceful. And what I was saying is a lot of the loss prevention people are saying, listen, they're using these tools too now. So
I think they just made it so easy to get money, because when you go on, it doesn't take a whole. It takes 20 seconds.
Well, the objective was to make it easy for people, but
if you make it easy, then you open up the door to.
Yeah, they're pretty smart characters, though. I mean, if you and I can figure out that there's going to be AI problems, pretty sure that big companies can figure it out and kind of. But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. If you're watching us on YouTube, I don't know if we sound different, but we're in the same room together. We're in my living room. What do you do? What on earth are you doing here? Like, I get a call, I get a knock on the door, and
I know.
I
was homeless. I ran out of gas on my way to London.
My goodness, London, Ontario. So you were recently, because last time I talked to you, you were at an AI conference in Montreal.
Yeah, I just left the conference today, and it was an AI conference. I was actually invited as a media person because of the podcast.
Because you are a media person.
There was no food. The food was great, but there was no conferences no talks about food at all.
It was just AI, in other words.
The room was filled with CIOs.
Okay.
Essentially, it was all IT, and of course, the big theme this year is AI.
And who put the conference on? Who was it?
Infotech from London, Ontario.
And you were explaining. I once you started explaining to me who they were, it clicked for me. But they're basically an information research provider to the IT community, kind of around the world. But they're Canadian based.
They're incredibly well organized. I must say I was impressed by the conference. The people on stage, very slick, very smooth, well prepared. Everything was well done. If you needed a room to negotiate, to meet someone, they had the app was really well developed as well.
About how many people were at this thing?
About 1,000.
That's a big conference.
Yeah.
1,000 people. That's big.
It's big
By Canadian standards. That's a
and
big conference.
the night before there was a VIP dinner which I was invited to, and that's when I realized there was just no foodie in the room. It was just a bunch of IT folks
and an astronaut apparently.
Yeah.
Chris Hadfield was the keynote speaker. That fella gets around. He also did a few others that I know. He's did you see him speak?
I saw the end. I had another meeting, but I saw the end of his.
I hear he gets
speech.
good reviews as a speaker.
Yeah, he was speaking yesterday. He's good. I mean, he probably says the similar things from one event to another.
Sure.
Because it's all about technology. It's all about thinking about the future. And I honestly, the people in the room are probably very well. Like
half of them want to go to space themselves, I'm sure.
I mean, the people in the room, I've had some really interesting discussions with CIOs because they look at systems.
And system thinking.
It's system thinking, and I'm a system thinker as well.
Yeah.
But their job is to basically, unpack everything and put everything back together, essentially. And that's really what they do. And so... And frankly, that's what we need more of. So they'll go into like a hospital and they'll say, instead of, you've been to airports where you can feel that things were added throughout the years.
Sure.
Let's add.
Bolted on.
An aisle here. Let's add another terminal there. They don't do that. They actually look at the entire thing and see whether or not they can deconstruct everything and rebuild all over again. So with AI, there's a lot of possibilities now. You can, and I'm thinking, as I was hearing all these really smart people, IT folks, I was always thinking, okay, what's in it for food? And this afternoon, I sat in to a really great talk from a guy from Infotech, a senior innovation researcher. There's always like research and innovation in their titles.
Yeah.
But this guy, and I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but his title was Let's Curb Our AI Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Because he thinks, and I agree with him, he thinks that the AI bubble is fueled by the same companies, and I think there's been a lot of reports about that.
Yep.
But also he believes that AI, if we go too deep into our enthusiasm for AI, we may actually miss the boat in terms of reasoning and thinking as humans as we adopt AI.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So and frankly, I do think that it is quite relevant to the food industry as well, because I see the food industry saying, okay, so what can we do? What can we do? What can we do with AI? And I mean, you go to conferences yourself, and you've always said, well, there's AI in retail, and there's always going to be something about AI at all retail shows. But in food, I think there's a lot of discussions happening right now. But I do agree that we need to perhaps like slow down a little bit and rationalize the whole deal here.
Systems thinking, basically, about systems. Yeah, I mean, when I talk to retailers about
AI,
AI,
I was basically surrounded by a bunch of really, really smart people.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you came out of there knowing more than you knew
and
when
Infotech,
you went.
And by the way, Infotech, I got to tell you, they accompany you. So when you're a guest, and I was a guest, they really take care of you. I mean, they go. So I arrived at
like
the
a company like a Russian spy accompany you, or
but
what does that mean?
No. So
They bug your hotel room, or what
Monday
do they
night,
do?
I arrived exactly. I arrived at the VIP restaurant. They knew who I was. They escorted me to the room. They offered me a drink. They explained what Infotech was, because I had no idea.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to Gavin, who was the vice president of Infotech, and I met the president as well. He was there, and I'm nobody for them. Like, I'm nobody. I'm not going to be a client to them.
Hey, you're an influencer, though. You're an influencer.
But anyways, I was really impressed.
Fantastic. Well, let's get into the news. So let's see, where do we start? Let's start with this Campbell Soup thing. So break it down for the people. So my understanding, you echo this or contradict me, or not contradict me, but correct me, is that the caught on mic some Campbell Soup executives saying that this is crap food for crap people, basically.
Pretty much.
Is that how does this kind of thing?
I thought you were going to say, is that true?
I have no opinion one way,
I don't want to get
shape, or another.
sued.
I'm not a big soup guy.
Well, this tape actually came out of a lawsuit because this guy is on leave, and there is a trial in court.
And who's this guy? He's a Campbell Soup executive.
He's an executive.
Okay.
He's a current executive. Okay. Because he's on leave.
Well, as of 5 o'clock today, you might be, but
this recorded rant in front of a lawyer, I suppose, because it was
a deposition kind of thing.
I suspect so. It was a testimonial given to someone.
Okay.
It wasn't in a public setting, but it was recorded.
Okay.
And that recording got leaked somehow to the media, and I think to ABC, because they were the first one to break. So it's a major network reporting on this. Yeah. And basically, for an hour, he goes on and swears and mentions that he's using drugs, and then he does a deep dive into the product itself and how it's bioengineered, it's printed. He says so many really awkward things about the company and products of Campbell's that I thought, this is just maddening. So he's either disgruntled towards the company and he's basically saying anything, or he may actually be experiencing some mental health issues. I mean, he didn't sound rational, and he's an executive, and I would expect something different. So I did write on X, and listen, I know a lot of executives, and frankly, it didn't sound like an executive, for one. And two, when you throw around words like printing food and bioengineering food, you got to be careful. I mean, because it means we just went through the cloning, cloned meat episode, which it became a disaster for Health Canada. Yeah. You got to be careful, and so there is no bioengineered chicken or printed chicken in products, and so I don't know. Like I don't, and of course he qualifies Campbell's Soup products as low quality. That's up to people to decide how they view the products. But there is a backdrop to all this. The Lancet last week, we talked about it. Yeah. Lancet actually released studies on ultra-processed foods. Yeah. There's this clone meat thing going on. People are looking for clean labels. I think the clean labeling era is here. Like it's interesting, because we've been talking about clean labeling for years, but it's happening, and people want transparency. So a lot of people out there are wondering, is it true?
Well, that's what I want to get to is the backlash, or what's happening in the broader community. So what you're saying is another stake, another iron in the fire in terms of people being suspicious about the foods that they eat. So what are you seeing? Are you seeing any boycott activity? You keep an eye on.
So I'm hearing. Actually, I was on the phone with someone this afternoon, and I was told that there are boycotts being called in the United States. I don't know about Canada, but
I can't imagine their grocer partners are very happy about this thing. It's like, no, nobody'd be happy. But
it's Thanksgiving weekend in America. People buy a lot of food. Yeah. And so if they're avoiding that category, that's going to be a problem. And big brand. I think fundamentally it boils down to one thing: clarity when it comes to labeling. As soon as you have like either wackos out there saying all sorts of things, or a disgruntled executive saying all sorts of things, if you don't have clarity and clean labeling and proper labeling of things, people will now assume the worst. That's exactly happening. I've always advocated in favor of mandatory labeling for generic engineering. I still stand by that. I've been saying the same thing for 20 years. And this recent episode with Campbell's demonstrate beyond reasonable doubt that it makes, without mandatory labeling, it puts the industry in a vulnerable position whenever there's something like this that happens.
Interesting. So you're advocating for allowing people, they can go in and they can decide for themselves if this is the case by reading the labels, which they cannot do in many instances today.
But this guy's saying, well, there's bioengineered chicken in my product. Really? Well, we've been labeling the otherwise, and no. I mean, so I think he took advantage of that market void, out there, that information void out there that people see every single day. So they're starting to ask questions in terms of how the food is made, what's in their food, and I'm not surprised, as they should. They and we'll continue to see that. And so for many years, we heard it. Like, consumers want transparency. They want to know.
Well, we heard it around GMOs, for example.
Yeah, but they weren't empowered by social media as much as now.
Okay. All right. So. Speaking of which, but not connected. So don't connect these two thoughts, but it just got me thinking. I got an email from Just Tetrick. Remember Josh from Just Eggs?
Oh, yeah. How's he doing?
From Just.
Just Eggs.
You will be receiving to your doorstep very soon his latest product. He asked me if we wanted to try his latest product, Just Meat. So he claims here, I'm just reading his email, and there's a review in Food and Wine, that they have, after years and years of development, and they just rolled in 3,000 Walmart stores, Sprouts, H-E-B, they're an American company. So I asked him, are you getting any listings in Canada? But he's got a new, they have a plant-based chicken that they say is tastier in taste tests than actual chicken.
Wow. So, but it's plant-based.
Plant-based. We're not talking lab-based.
Okay.
This is plant-based chicken. And he's offering to send us some so we can judge for ourselves. So
chicken farmers of Canada will argue that their chicken is plant-based too.
Yeah,
but
that's right. They eat plants. They eat all plants. Anyway, so you just got me thinking about that. But we'll be talking about that in the new year. Maybe we'll get
that's great.
Maybe we'll get Josh back on.
Yeah, we haven't.
3 years ago, actually. I think we had him on. And I still enjoy their egg product.
By the way, I mean, the avian flu is coming back, and that's one of Josh's biggest argument. I mean, because the avian flu is really, I think there are 28 farms in BC being impacted, 17 in Alberta. So numbers are going up. Unfortunately, we're losing a lot of. We've actually had to put down over 17 million birds so far this year,
and 30 ostriches.
And I'm hearing for turkey for Christmas, they're short out west. And it's harder to order. I've been told it's harder to order your fresh turkey right now.
I can attest to that because, of course, you know that my wife and I agree on many, many things, but not how much turkey to eat. So I look for any excuse to eat turkey. Today,
and you're going to eat turkey this weekend.
Today, Thursday. Today is Thanksgiving. When you're listening to this, it's Thanksgiving in America. Not that I celebrate that, but it's an excuse to eat turkey.
Of course.
But I had
it's a good meat. I
had a heck of a time. I looked all week trying to find. So you could find some frozen birds, but the frozen birds were all either stuffed or seasoned already, and I like to season my own product.
Right.
So I wound up getting a couple of big turkey breasts, but pre-frozen. I kind of like fresh. So I can attest, though it's not unusual that they'd be hard to find this time of the year, but it was a bit of a struggle to find my turkey, but I'm making turkey tomorrow. I might actually make one of them with Mag mayonnaise. We're going to have Hugo from Mag on. He sent me some mayonnaise, and
nice.
I'm going to try that on the outside.
Are you going to put on your barbecue?
Yeah, I'm deciding which one. Maybe the smoker. We'll see how the weather comes out. Maybe the smoker.
The smoker.
Might do it on my Kamado with a bit of honey and Von Slick's flavored bespoke butter. Thanks to the guys. Rob sent me a sample of all his tubed butter, award winning. I've tried some in pasta, by the way. With a shrimp pasta. Oh my God, fantastic! So, try Von Slicks if you can find it.
Wow!
All right, enough of the shameless self promotion or whatever it is we're doing right now. Let's get back on task.
Yeah.
So, National Farmers Union. So it got my attention last week. Mostly got my attention because they were meeting in Moncton, a town I'm very fond of.
Yep.
Being in LeBlanc, my dad was born just outside Moncton. But they issued some kind of proclamation or declaration today. Something about, they had two parts to it. One, though, was like they're going to lobby for a cap to profits at grocers. They say grocers are making all the money. And I don't know. I didn't read the release that they put out. I think it was Canadian Press's writing about it, and they were.
I don't even know what a Canadian Press is reporting on this.
I have no idea.
The National Farmers Union represents.
Who are these guys? Who are these guys?
They represent.
Who are these
I
people?
believe less than 1,000 members.
Okay.
And I think I'm being generous. And in Moncton, in that room, there were barely 100 people. I mean, it's just. It's a marginalized group of farmers, artisanal farmers, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't exist. I mean, they actually provide good food, and they have their own ways, their own views of farming. It's small scale farming, and I think we need small scale farmers.
Wrong with that. Sure,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm starting to realize that they're positioning themselves as the National Farmers Union. Representing all voices,
which is funny because I didn't even know. Like I read this, and I'm like, I was not aware that all farmers got together like as a.
No, well in Quebec they do because of the union.
Right.
They have one voice, and it's a powerful one, but not outside of Quebec. There are no unions.
I know there's dairy. There's lots of associations, canola.
First of all, if you go out west
dairy,
and you talk about unions, they're not going to join. I mean. They're not in favor of union. They don't like unions, and so when you go out, I'll be in Manitoba in January. Brandon,
nice.
Brandon, yeah.
Way to go! Way to be in January in Manitoba.
I love Manitoba, and frankly, I deal with the winter very well.
You could take in a good spiel. They got great curling and
exactly, and so they're more free spirited. But the National Farmers Union is a union,
not a co-op, because I know farmers like co-ops. Union. It's a union.
Yeah, and the union they're not very. I don't think they're very influential, but they know how to play with media, and some left-leaning media like what they're saying, and as you know, going back to the Canadian Press, they were the ones all over Reddit about the Loblaw boycott. Do you remember that? They actually made it real. They actually convinced many Canadians that the boycott was actually happening. And of course we know that it was just fake. It was nothing happened really. So
they're calling for a cap on grocer profits. They only named the big three Canadian,
and they're actually asking the government to guarantee revenues for farmers.
Oh, wait a minute!
Like seriously. No, so anyway. you can tell this is a really, and again. They have a right to have their own opinions, and they can get some press, but don't say that all farmers want this. They don't.
All right. Well, we'll give it no more thought or audience here, but I just want to say, who are these guys and why are they asking these ridiculous things? All right. Yeah. Just before we get to Ransom, our great interview with Ransom talking about GLP-1s, let's talk about what's coming up next week. On December 4th, I think is the release date.
December 4th, yep.
Big date.
It's always the first Thursday of the month of December.
And Canada Food Price Report 2026.
Yep.
Bit of a crush this year for you because I know that you guys were locked out for a month, so that's probably
third report in 3 weeks. Yeah,
you put a real crowbar into your timetable. But any sneak peeks that'll come out? Any teasers
it's been great. We have a different approach, so it's not a food report published by 4 universities. It's a collective of universities. We have, I believe, 8 or 9 universities involved this year, so we're not positioning
all Canadian.
It's all Canadian.
Okay.
And so we have I'm lead author. We have a forecasting team. We have a production team, and we have academic advisors. So we have about 20, 25 people involved in the project.
A lot goes into this this report, right?
Yeah, and so we're, for the first year, for the first time in 16 years, we're positioning this food price report as Canada's food price report, full stop. That's it. Not published or by any universities. You basically, so we kind of, we're branding it as a standalone report, basically.
And your track record has been quite, we'll talk about this next week, but one of the things we always start with on that episode that we've done is you kind of look back and say how accurate.
Well, we can talk about that now because the year's over. So how accurate we were. So if you look at the 8 categories, we missed half of them. But I mean, it's always hard. What caught us by surprise were vegetables.
It had to be tariffs. I was going to say tariffs, no?
Well, fruits and vegetables, you know, they were in the minuses. I don't know if people know this, but I think that the pivoting for grocers, avoiding America was quite successful. They've been able to actually get new vendors, and keep prices as low as possible for produce, which is a plan that we don't talk about this, but so fruits and vegetables, we were expecting hikes. They were in the negative. But overall, our forecast is accurate. For restaurants, it was accurate. For dairy and for bakery and
meats. How are you on meats?
No, meat. Actually, we were thinking that meat would push inflation higher, which it did, but we actually underestimated. Meat is up actually 7%.
Wow.
And we said 4 to 6. So we missed the mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you mean about more. I just went shopping for my turkey, and I picked up some lemons from Argentina. I've never seen lemons from Argentina. I often see them from South Africa. I try to avoid the Florida lemons. There's no flavor to them.
Yeah.
Kind of my editorial on lemons. But we'll see how these Argentinian.
But it's a record 34 pages this year. So, because I kind of as a lead author, I kind of welcome comments from academics, and guess what happened? Oh, you got lots of them. You should put that. You should put that. So 34 pages. Typically, it's 22 pages.
So lots to chew on.
Yeah, lots to chew on. And the first day, people just focus on the executive summary and the first couple of tables, the forecast. I'm just hoping that people can actually read the whole darn thing.
Yep.
Because there's a lot.
There's a lot to it.
There's a lot of content.
I really enjoyed it. I'm reading that. Not only does it give me the headlines, as you say, but it gives me a lot of information about
so we already have, I believe, 25 interviews booked for the 4th already. So, yeah. Busy day.
Busy day. All right. Let's get to our interview with Ransom from Cattle, and then we'll be back to talk about a couple of other things, including farewell to a restaurateur entrepreneur. All right, we are back. So I want to talk about a couple of things, one of which is the passing of Rodney Clark from Rodney's Oysters. He was just an incredible...
I didn't know he passed away.
Yeah, he passed away on the East Coast. I think he was in his 70s. I wanted to call him out because I went to a couple of events with him. He came to Toronto, and Rodney's Oyster was both a great restaurant. I moved a couple of times, and then he was famous
Very
showing
well
up
known,
at events and shucking, and really a pioneer in I'd call it entertainment, food entertainment, right? He made it really entertaining to have him at the event. So I wanted to give him a shout out, and the current owner is doing a great job. His legacy is good.
Condolences to his family.
Absolutely. What else we talk about? I noticed this thing about honeybees. That I don't know if you saw this. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Canadian beekeepers are asking the government to ban overseas bee imports to protect local hives. I love honey and honeybees. We've had honey suppliers on.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess there's, like all these things, there's a mite or something that can get infested, right? So biosecurity issues come to pass. What do you know about this honeybee thing? Is it is it another avian flu? Are we worried? And
well, I mean, I'm not a bee expert. For sure, but what I've learned when I was in Guelph, beekeeping was a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's a very important research center there, and what I've learned over the years is that when beekeepers tell you something, you should listen.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I think it's wise, a wise advice coming from the group. Especially right now, because we're dealing with the avian flu, and of course you can't really close borders on the avian flu because of migrating birds and everything that's going on. Yeah. But if there is something you can control around biosecurity, especially with bees, and bees play a really important role here. Yeah.
They're rented out to.
I'd say I would put some credence on what they're actually advocating for here.
Okay.
And so absolutely, I would certainly look into perhaps restricting imports of bees into Canada for the time being, knowing what the risks are. Because, bees play a really critical role in the food chain, for sure.
Do you remember the whole African honeybee killer bee thing?
Yeah.
Back from the 80s. You know was all just a scam
by
the National Enquirer.
I know.
Never really existed.
These
the killer bees. I remember that book that, we were all suddenly afraid of getting killed by.
Well, when I was playing
bees.
volleyball, we had Team A and Team B. So we were 12 guys playing for RMC. And every time, so to practice, I was on Team A.
Yeah.
I was a starting setter for Team A. And the Team B, we call them killer bees. Because they were benching, right?
Yeah.
But they were playing against us. And sometimes, we were tired and they beat us during practice.
The killer
The
bees.
killer bees.
African killer bees.
Yeah.
So great episode. Now you're leaving here. We're here in my living room. If you're watching us on YouTube, these shorts.
I'm taking my turkey to go.
Taking your turkey to go. Where are you going? What are you doing here?
I'm going to London.
London, Ontario.
The other London.
Right.
Yeah. And so I'm going to London, and tomorrow I'm keynoting the event. They call it Crop Grow.
Mm-hmm.
So they put together crop scientists and farmers together. And I love those groups because you got the science, you got the practice, and that's where I fit right in there. I really enjoy that. So it's going to be the start of the second day at 8 o'clock. It's really funny because I just came back from an AI IT conference, and the first conference was at 9:30.
Yeah, they all sleep. Well, I on the one hand, I was thinking they sleep in, but they probably all kind of fix everything that's broken overnight.
But I mean, I was there at
Reboot your
7:30 in the morning. I did my jog in the morning.
There's nobody there.
And half my day is done, and then I arrived. Nobody's there.
Nobody's there. I'm at the wrong place.
But tomorrow, it's going to be...
You'll be up at dawn.
Exactly.
Your kind of people.
Yeah, exactly. I enjoy... I'm a morning guy, so as you are.
Yeah. Different ends of the clock, though, sometimes.
Yeah, this is why this marriage works. You're a night guy, I'm a morning guy. It's great.
I'm wrapping it up, and you're starting the day, but we overlap well. Well, listen, it's wonderful to see you.
Yeah.
Great way for us to almost finish the year, but we got a great season. Many more episodes happening in 2026.
Yep.
We'll take a little break. We're going to run a bonus episode, actually, because our episode from the coffee conference, unfortunately, the sound wasn't great. And I'm not sure everybody heard that. Doug stuck through it and listened to the Doug Porter interview. So I'm going to run that as a bonus episode so listeners can look forward to that. And then we got a couple of more episodes before this calendar year's over. We'll be back next year, 2026, so you can look forward to that. But for now, I'm Michael LeBlanc, media entrepreneur, and you are?
And I'm the food professor, Sylvain Charlebois.
Safe travels, everyone.
Take care.